Jackson Oberman. I'm with Reclaim Philadelphia. And I'm working off my phone because my printer wasn't working. Give me 1 second here. And we're proud to stand with Representative Chris Rabb in his run to represent the people of this great city in Congress. We are living through a political moment that demands courage and bold action, not caution, triangulation, or the same failed politics that helped deliver us to the doorstep of fascism. We need leaders and a phone that works. We need leaders willing to fight for working people, for black and brown communities being pushed out of the city that we built, for immigrants, for children, the incarcerated, elders, and the disabled on fixed incomes, and everyone that this system has abandoned. That's who Chris Rabb has fought for in Harrisburg, and that's who he'll fight for when we send him to Washington, D.C. I am 55 years old. For most of my life, both parties have helped to dismantle the New Deal and rebuild a gilded economy that concentrates wealth upwards. Through tax cuts for the rich, privatization, deregulation, endless wars, mass incarceration, environmental destruction, and the displacement of working class communities. That's right, it's a damn shame. This hasn't happened by accident or through the invisible hand of the market. It happened because people in power made choices about who mattered and who could be sacrificed. Over the last 30 years, we've seen a $31 trillion transfer of wealth from workers to the 1%. That's why you can't afford rent. That's why you can't buy a house. That's why the cost of groceries is crushing families. Why childcare is out of reach. Why 17 public schools are closing in our city. Why healthcare premiums keep skyrocketing while millions remain uninsured. So no, we will not be satisfied with crumbs. We are not asking for symbolic change. We are fighting for a future fit for human beings. Fit for our beautiful children and future generations who will live with the consequences of the choices that we make right now. And that means sending the boldest champions from the bluest districts, leaders willing not only to fight for their own constituents, but for all people under attack in this country, and that is Chris Rabb. Rep. Rabb has already shown us who he is. He's fought for workers, for children, for incarcerated folk, and for the communities constantly told to wait our turn. He's never been afraid to challenge entrenched power, including inside his own party. And right now, that matters more than ever. Because we do not have time for timid politics. Normal is what got us here. The old politics of corporations and billionaires first is driving us toward deeper inequality, deeper repression, and deeper fascism. Dr. King called it the fierce urgency of now. Every bomb dropped on Gaza or Lebanon, every landmine exploding in Sudan or Congo, it echoes in North Philadelphia too. Always money for war, never money for schools. Always money for war, never money for health care. Always money for war, never money for housing or climate justice. We need a rupture with business as usual. We need leaders who will tax wealth, fight for guaranteed health care as a human right, a living wage indexed to inflation, universal basic income, guaranteed housing, reparations for the descendants of slavery and systemic racism, and an end to the endless wars for profit. We need leaders who understand that budgets are moral documents and every dollar spent on bombs, prisons, policing, and billionaire tax breaks is a dollar stolen from our communities. I spent 25 years as a union organizer, and I learned this. You don't win by entering the fight weak, divided, or ready to compromise your power at the first sign of conflict. You win by organizing, building unity, and making demands that match the scale of the crisis. So why would we send a compromised bargaining team in to fight for our future? We need people with both feet planted firmly on the side of the people, on the side of our multiracial working class. That's Chris Rabb. So let's be clear about what we're fighting for. Tax the rich. End wars for profit. Fund housing, healthcare, education, jobs, climate justice, democracy, and dignity. Everything is on the line. Our children are watching. The world is watching. So let's get this right, Philadelphia. And remember, voting Tuesday is not enough. Knock doors, make calls, donate. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. They say go slow. We say fuck no. They say go slow. We say fuck no. They say go slow. We say fuck no. Chris Rabb for Congress.
Introducing Ms. Teresa Howe, a proud member of 1PA Runners United, Philadelphia.
So I have to give him thanks. Praise the Lord, everybody. My name is Teresa Howell, and I'm a proud member of 1PA's Renters United. And let me tell you something. I was born and raised in this city, and I know these regular people can win. Did you hear me? All of us regular people can vote and help Rabb win. Not long ago, I was fighting a slumlord who refused to fix my kitchen in a house full of mold and lead and lied about it. He was egregious to the 10th power. I remember waking up every day stressed and wondering why working people are expected to live like this. I'm sorry, she got this in small print. She know my eyes are not for small print. I remember waking up every day angry, stressed, and wondering why working people are expected to live like these white landlords keep getting richer. All we do is work, work, work. And all they do is take. They don't fix anything. They just take our money and have us living in substandards. And like so many people in the city, I was told, stay quiet, be patient, accept less. But instead of staying quiet, I got organized and I spoke up. And together, tenants from across this city passed one of the strongest renter protections laws in this country. It's called the Safe and Healthy Homes Act. We did that. And it took people power, like it's going to take people power Tuesday for Rabb to win. Let me tell you something. All these people that came up here and said what a wonderful man he is, who he represents, who he stands for. We already know who he stands for. This room isn't crowded for nothing. This room isn't standing room only for nothing. Look around. People have plenty of things to do with their day. Plenty of things. Raise children, cook, clean, get ready for work. But each and every one of us knows how important it is that Tuesday we vote and we fight to get Rabb in, because we know the importance of him not getting in. We won. Not billionaires won. We won. It took hard work, but we won. We did that. Every single human rights working people, oh God, has ever won, because regular working people organized together and refused to back down. Now, for those who don't know, my email is never back down, because that's who I am. I never back down. If I believe it, I'm going to fight. That's how change happens. We never back down. And that's why this election matters so much. We all see what's going on. We see it. Only we can change it. Like they said, if it's not him you have to vote for, do something for this campaign. Pick up a phone. I'll be on the phone. I can't canvass, but I can surely talk, because I like to talk anyway. They want us to be exhausted, disconnected, cynical, and afraid. We are none of that. Everybody in this room, crowded today, proves we're not scared of none of that. They want us to believe our voices do not matter. I'm here to tell you they do. Listen, whether y'all realize it or not, to win what we won with our champion, Councilmember O'Rourke, and his wonderful team. Yes. He is definitely one of the champions in Philadelphia. We went up against a body of people that have controlled things in the city of Philadelphia when it came to housing for a very long time. It was not an easy fight, but the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And that's what we proved to the city of Philadelphia. That's what we proved with the citizens that stood up and said, we're not going to take this anymore. That's what we have to do for Rabb. We have to stand up and fight, because God knows he's fighting hard for us. He's fighting hard every day to make our lives easier, to make it just a little less stressful, to make it so you can take your child to daycare and go to work and not worry about how you're going to pay for it. Not worry about how am I going to pay for rent and buy food, clothes, and everything else that we have to do for our families. A lot of people in this city make less than $30,000 a year. Shame. Shame. He's fighting hard. All the Democrats on the Hill is fighting hard for us. And we have to help them by doing whatever we need to do to get them in office. It's just that simple. We have to get them in office. Things are not going to change, people, if we don't get them in office. It'll be some of the same or even worse. We don't want to know what worse look like. I need y'all to repeat after me. Our time is now. Our time is now. Our time is now. Our time is now. Our time is right now. Our time is right now. Thank you.
Hello, Philadelphia. That did not sound good. Hello, Philadelphia. My name is Bishop Dwayne Royster. Some of you know me because I used to run a little organization here in Pennsylvania called Power Interfaith. And I'm proud to be here today to help you send Chris Rabb to Congress to fight for all of our communities here in Philadelphia. I am and have always been fueled by a deep faith and passionate commitment to bringing about social justice. I was proud recently, this past January, to convene a massive, diverse, faith-inspired gathering in Washington, D.C., just days after a series of ICE-related deaths in Minnesota. Almost 500 faith leaders mobilized in 72 hours with multiple faith traditions, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, ethical humanists. There were atheists in the gathering, indigenous populations that were there, Sikh and Quakers and Unitarian Universalists, and so many others gathered in that place to fight the Senate to make sure they did not pass funding for the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. 200 faith leaders came to D.C. for the very first time in their ministerial careers from across the country to say, no more, we are not taking this. This is not the way of our faith traditions. Almost 60 faith leaders were arrested during that peaceful protest. I just happened to be one of them that got arrested that day by the Capitol Police in the Hart Building. As we were singing in the building, letting the senators know we are not going to tolerate this foolishness anymore. This underscores once again our deep belief that our faith and our beliefs are a resource for resilience, meant to be shared in action, not just in prayer. I think I heard it was the late Frederick Douglass that say, I was on my knees praying and praying and praying and nothing changed. And it wasn't until I started praying with my feet that things began to change. And then in the 60s, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, marching with Dr. King, said, I was out praying with my feet. On Tuesday, we need people praying with their feet. People are struggling in so many ways. We see it every day, no matter where you look in Philadelphia. The level of frustration folks are experiencing right now, you can feel it, right? How many of you know folks struggling to pay their rent? How many folks do you know are worried about their kids getting their education? How many of you right now are worried about being able to put gas in your car? Or being able to pay your electric bill because you're fueling your car through electricity? How many of you are struggling in this moment when you go in the supermarket and you walk out with 2 bags and it cost you $100? How many of you are tired of that? We need to send Chris Rabb to Congress. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of injustice, but each of us has a role. Whether we march, whether we donate, whether we pray, whether we hold space for others, our collected effort is what moves the needle. We want all to survive. Scratch that. We want everybody to flourish and thrive. Somebody say amen. We want to live our best lives, but that requires us all to come together, to love our neighbors and build a different story here in America. It's time for us to become architects of a new America, right here, right now. And we know Chris Rabb will lead the way. I know a man who's ready to help us build that new America, to build a different story for all of our communities here in Philadelphia and beyond. That's why we're all here tonight, unified in one purpose, to send Chris Rabb to Congress. I've known Chris Rabb for many years. I had the opportunity to work with him when I served at Power Interfaith, organizing and creating change in our communities. We could depend on him whether it was an environmental fight. We could depend on him whether it was an educational fight. We could depend on him whether it was an economic fight. We could depend on him whether it was a housing fight. You know what we learned? We can depend on Chris Rabb. I'm excited for all of us to help get him elected because I know a couple of things. One, when things get tough in Philadelphia, the people who Chris Rabb will listen to aren't the plutocrats, the autocrats, or anybody else who's a fascist. He's going to listen to the people of the city of Philadelphia. He's going to listen to the people in pain, the closest in pain. He's going to work to solve problems from the bottom up, not the top down. And then second thing I know about Chris Rabb is that he deeply cares about Philadelphia. Chris cares about all of the people of Philadelphia and wants to see Philadelphia thrive. And then I know when Chris gets to Congress, there will always be a voice inside the chamber that's crying out and asking the question, what about the people? What about the people? What about the people? Not about the Fortune 500 companies. What about the people? Not about the defense industrial complex. What about the people? Not about the lobbyists, but what about the people? That's what Philadelphia needs in our next member of Congress. In the city of Philadelphia, that's what we need to create change. Someone who is steadfast in his commitment to be a public servant, not a politician. Faith, when truly grounded, can be a revolutionary force. This is a moment for people of faith and moral courage to stand up and fight and vote Chris Rabb for Congress. carry us the belief that your action, no matter how small, is a part of a larger and essential whole. This weekend, let's knock some doors, talk to our friends and family, and do all we can to help elect Chris Rabb to Congress. Chris Rabb is fighting for all of us. Now it's our time to fight for him. Chris Rabb for Congress. 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 Come on, stand on your feet and shout it out. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Let all of Philadelphia know. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Let everybody in Washington, D.C. know Chris Rabb is coming their way. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Chris Rabb for Congress. Let's turn it over to our next groups that's coming in, the DJ and some music. Philadelphians, introducing our Pennsylvania Progressive State Legislative Squad, Representatives Elizabeth Fiedler, Rick Krajewski, and Senator Nikil Saval.
Good evening, everyone. Are we ready to send a fighter for working families to Congress? Are we ready for Congressman Rabb? My name is Nikil Saval, State Senator for the 1st Senate District. It is an honor to stand with my colleagues Rick Krajewski and Elizabeth Fiedler here tonight to welcome Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to Philadelphia and to elect Rabb as our congressman for the 3rd Congressional District. Thanks to the hard work of everyone here, dozens of organizations, hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, we are on the precipice of an extraordinary victory. A victory for working class Philadelphians, for Pennsylvanians, and indeed for Americans everywhere, seeking relief from the everyday struggle to survive and seeking a bolder vision of our collective future, seeking a future in which they do not survive, but flourish. This is an extraordinary time, a time of grave crisis and immense possibility. We must remember, indeed, we cannot possibly forget the circumstances that we find ourselves in which so many of us here at home and loved ones abroad have come not just to mistrust our government, but to fear it. Unaccountable masked agents kidnapping our neighbors from our streets. Our dollars being sent abroad to bomb Palestinians, Iranians, Lebanese. As our neighbors grieve their family members abroad and our own cities buckle under the sheer burden of survival, the gap in wealth is the highest it has been in decades. The gap in wealth between white Americans and Black Americans, the greatest since the Great Depression. We see those gaps in our streets, staring at us in the grassy lots between houses. Not far from here, or anywhere in Philadelphia, is a street where it seems every other home is vacant, where tenants choose hourly between groceries, childcare, and rent, where the neighborhood school is threatened to be closed. Billions for war and deportation, but not for jobs and education. As James Baldwin wrote, speaking of another war, every bombed village is my hometown. Nothing could be more dangerous than to muddle through this crisis, to steel ourselves, to grit our teeth and expect a new day. To get through, we must organize, and we must, in the midst of organizing, clarify our vision. It is not only required, it is essential. And that clarity extends to all aspects of our social lives, how we govern ourselves, and whom we choose to elevate to our highest levels of office. Those leaders, too, must have clarity, a recognition that the crisis we face requires creativity, dynamism, and a resolute moral understanding. One candidate for Congress in this race exudes that clarity. One candidate for Congress demonstrates that recognition. His name is Chris Rabb.
Hi, everybody. I'm State Representative Elizabeth Fiedler. So proud to stand on this stage. Thank you. So proud to stand on this stage with my colleagues and to be here in support of our colleague, Chris Rabb. Status quo. Is it working for anyone in this room? No. I'm the mom of 4 kids, and I can tell you everything is too expensive. As Nikil said, right? Groceries, rent, daycare, utilities, way too high. And at the same time, we know that's no coincidence. That's not just a thing that happened, right? That is the system. That's the way it's been set up. It's set up so that we have to pay more and more. And those big corporations, they get to make more and more of our money. Shame is right. Shame is right. And I have gotten the chance to stand side by side with State Rep Chris Rabb, as my colleagues have in Harrisburg. And I can tell you, whether it's at a press conference where we are fighting for a fair tax system that gets corporations to pay their fair share, or fighting for renewable energy and a healthy and safe planet for the next generation, Chris speaks at those press conferences with a courage and moral clarity that I have no doubt he will take to Washington, D.C. And I want to tell you too, Chris speaks with that courage and clarity at those press conferences. And then when we're at meetings behind closed doors, you know, the meetings where you get called in, sometimes you might be in a little bit of trouble, sometimes a lot, for speaking the truth. You know what Chris does? He says the exact same thing! I want you to know that I am totally confident Chris Rabb is not afraid to stand up to corporations. He does not care if it's the healthcare industry, if it's the energy industry, millionaires, billionaires. He does not care. We have seen him do that in Harrisburg, and I am so excited that in just a few days, we are going to get to call Chris Rabb Congressman-elect Chris Rabb. Are you with me? Chris Rabb does not cave to pressure. Chris Rabb does not give up on big fights. We have seen that standing side by side with him in Harrisburg over the years, and I am hoping that you all will join me over the next 4 days in doing really some incredible work, because we are right there. We are right there at the edge. We know that from the text messages we're getting, right? They are scared. They are scared because they see what is being built. So it is truly my honor to be up here with you today. I am so excited to do this work with you side by side. Chris knows that we deserve not just to survive, but to thrive. Thank you so much.
Philly, make some noise. Philly, make some noise for Chris Rabb. Philly, make some noise for AOC coming to throw down for Chris Rabb. All right, so listen, y'all. I'm going to close this out. Now, look, when we win next Tuesday, it will be more than just winning a congressional seat. It will be a statement that we will no longer tolerate a Democratic Party more accountable to corporations than working people. That we are tired of genocide and forever wars waged with our government's consent. That we are tired of being told health care is impossible in the richest country in the world. But you know what I'm most tired of all? I am most tired of being told that our world is impossible. It seems that every time oppressed people in this country struggle to be liberated from racial capitalism, they are told it just isn't possible. When the workers organize to collectively bargain as unions, what do the bosses say? It's not possible. When my ancestors marched to topple Jim Crow, what did the segregationists say? It's not possible. But did the workers back down? No. Did our organizers, did our ancestors back down? No. No. They
did the impossible. And you see, our opponents, they want us to forget this. They want us to forget the legacy of radical tradition. They want us to believe the lie that this is just how the world works, that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor.
Same old bullshit.
The same old, right? They want us to forget that we have been here before and that we have won. But next Tuesday, we will remember that every transformation, every political revolution in this country began as a dream. The work of movements, of organized people, is to turn dreams into reality. Next Tuesday, when we elect Chris Rabb to Congress, we will have someone who will fight for that dream alongside us in the halls of power. We will have someone who will counter the darkness with light, who will say that universal health care, clean air and water, dignified wages, and healthy housing are not lofty, unattainable goals, but urgent human rights to be struggled for and won right here and right now. So look, we know that these have been troubling times. We know that every time you turn on the news, you're greeted by the latest reckless actions of this fascist administration. But also, know this: when we remember our radical history, when we remember our radical tradition, we ground ourselves in what we have always known to be true. That even when our backs are against the wall, when we organize, when we build power, when we fight, when we fight, when we fight, when we fight. Chris Rabb for Congress, thank you.
Introducing Democratic Ward Leader and DSA member Will Groves.
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up, but here I go. Who's ready to elect Chris Rabb? Who's ready to elect Chris Rabb? Good evening, everyone. My name is Will Groves. I am the Democratic leader of the 2nd Ward in South Philadelphia. I am an organizer with AFSCME DC 47, and I am a proud member of Philly DSA. DSA in the house tonight? Okay. In 2022, I met DSA members on the picket line with DC 47 when workers at the Philadelphia Museum of Art were on strike. At that point, management at the PMA had stalled contract negotiations for over 2 years. When PMA workers made that tough decision to go on strike, they were not alone. Thanks to hundreds of community members and DSA members who showed up on that picket line, that's when I realized that with a fighting labor movement supported by DSA and socialist elected leaders like Chris Rabb, their union wouldn't have to face another contract fight on their own. Their power would not be limited to the number of workers in their unit, but amplified across the city in a powerful network of united workers. And that's when I took the step to become a DSA member. Later, when people from across the city, including DSA members, joined my Asian American community to protect Chinatown, just as my parents had done decades earlier from a billionaire real estate developer, and we won. I knew I had made the right choice. I understood then that my story was part of something larger, a shared movement woven into a broader tapestry of struggle and solidarity. Now we are undertaking a new fight to send Chris Rabb to Congress. Rep. Rabb's opponents have a lot of talk. They say abolish ICE. They say Medicare for all. They say affordability. They'll say anything to get elected, and they're banking on voters not to know the difference. Because the language of the left is being co-opted every single day. But voters are smarter than that. We are smarter than that. We know that Sharif Street comes from a political dynasty, raised to succeed his father in the political establishment. We know that Ayla Stanford was handpicked as a successor, ready to maintain the status quo. But Rep. Rabb doesn't come from the establishment. He comes from organization. He is a labor organizer. He is an abolitionist and a DSA member who understands the power of the people. You can say what you want in mailers and in ads, but you can't buy a DSA endorsement. You can't build a movement through consultants or by chasing approval from political insiders. You can't fake supporting a free Palestine and an end to foreign wars. Our power comes from our commitment to a project that is bigger than any one person or any single moment. We are fighting for a world where we decide our future together, and it's going to take all of us to build it. We choose to be part of this organization so we can build powerful networks of union members who bring their fellow workers out to May Day. So we can create tenant unions that have the power to wrest senior apartments from slumlords and win public housing. So we can elect movement leaders who fight hand in hand with us to get ICE out of our city. And so we can send a socialist like Chris Rabb to Congress. And that's why I'm asking you to join DSA to get organized, so that the day after we send Chris Rabb to Congress, we continue the work to grow our movement stronger than ever before. Let's win this on Tuesday. Solidarity, and thank you.
Introducing Working Families Party City Council member Nicolas O'Rourke.
Go ahead and add my little 2 cents to the conversation. Good evening, Philadelphia. Are the workers in the house? Any socialists in the house? Are the people in the house tonight? As the bishop said, my name is Nicolas O'Rourke. I am proud to serve as one of your at-large members of the City Council here in Philadelphia as an independent with the Working Families Party. Make some noise for the WFP. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here today with my minority leader, Kendra Brooks, and with all of you to support the next congressman from Pennsylvania's 3rd District, soon to be Congressman Chris Rabb. The Working Families Party has one underlying objective: to use every tool at our disposal to materially improve the lives of working people, and to do that every single day. We want to make life better. We want to make things more affordable, and we want the people to feel the impact of folks who will work to make your life better. Right now, working people are being crushed by rising costs. Billionaires are buying influence, and Donald Trump and the fascist right are attacking immigrants. They're attacking workers. They're attacking our democracy. They're attacking the very idea that government should serve ordinary people. A full-out assault is on these things. So this is not a time for timid leadership. We don't need that. This is a time to have bold leadership, and I do have a sense of what that looks like. I've seen what happens when people elect leaders who are unapologetic about fighting for working people. You've seen it too. Just last month, Leader Brooks and I led the charge in City Council to pass 2 of the boldest pieces of legislation the city has seen all year, if not longer.
the Ice Out package to protect our neighbors from the secret police. And she and I watched alongside with the people to see the Safe Healthy Homes Act come to fruition to create some of the strongest tenant protections in the entire country. Can we get some more commotion for landlord accountability, for slumlord accountability? Can we get some more commotion for tenant protections and renters' rights? Those victories did not happen because the powerful suddenly changed their minds that they don't use most of the time, no way. That's not how it happened. They happened because ordinary people organized. They took the time out to build relationships, to figure out and affirm what we knew was wrong, and to speak boldly what needs to happen. They happened because tenants fought, because immigrants fought, because workers fought, because people power strategically moved government to act and to do so with reckless abandon. And that is exactly how Chris Rabb leads. He leads with vision. He leads with heart. And most importantly, he leads for working people. And now, he is ready to take that model of leadership to add it into the halls of Congress and to fight in D.C. And let me tell you something. This race could not come at a more important time. Do I have anybody in the room that can bear witness to that? We need the boldest champions, and I mean the boldest, the baddest, coming out of bluest districts in this country. We need leaders who won't just protect the status quo while the republic crumbles around us. We need leaders who will fight like people's lives actually depend on it, because guess what? They do. They do. Our lives depend on this sort of leadership. That is the kind of leadership that Chris Rabb represents. So if you are tired of politics that works only for those who do not work for us, if you are tired of politics that asks working people to wait their turn, if you're tired of politicians who campaign like progressives and govern like consultants, if you believe another world is possible, this is our moment. And Chris Rabb, he's our candidate. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of atoms, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old. For our union, it makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Sing it with your heart. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Stand to your feet. Solidarity forever. Let me hear you. Solidarity forever. Sing it out. Forever, for the union makes us strong. Chris Rabb for Congress, glory be to God. All power to all the people. Let's wait for working folk on Tuesday. Let's get it done.
Introducing Working Families Party City Council member and Philadelphia City Council Minority Leader, Kendra Brooks.
Good evening, always come strong, so bear with me, like you can't follow behind that. I am City Council Member Kendra Brooks, the minority leader for Philadelphia City Council, and an at-large, thank you, and an at-large member representing the Working Families Party. And it is an honor to welcome you here in North Philadelphia, in a place that I call home. This is my church, Garden of Prayer. Shout out to my pastor, Brian L. Jackson, who's somewhere around here. There he is, waving his hand in the back. Thank you, Pastor, for letting us do this. Here at Garden of Prayer, we say everything grows in the garden. So we're in a season of growth. Growth of what it means to be a progressive, growth of what it means to change the status quo, and growth what it means to build a party. I'm proud to be here to support Chris Rabb for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District. Listen, we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to elect a real progressive to this seat, someone who will fight for working people. This is not the moment for capitulation. This is a moment for courage. And Chris has that courage. Chris had the courage to fight back when either party tried to hurt people for the benefit of big corporations. He had the courage to stand up to Trump. He had the courage to push for bold policies for working people when they need it. And guess what? We need it right now. And that's why we need Chris in DC. I am a Black working class woman from Knightstown who understands what it means to navigate broken systems while fighting for your neighbors every single day. I believe that working people deserve a government and an economy that values them as much as they do to wealthy donors and corporations and political insiders. I believe that workers should be able to survive off of one paycheck. I believe that development should benefit communities, not just investors. And I also believe that public dollars should produce public goods. Now, don't we all believe that? That's exactly why we need to elect Chris Rabb for Congress. Because when he gets to DC, he's gonna fight for those same beliefs every day. So Philadelphia, let's make this happen. And how do we make it happen? Get out and vote. So May 19th, I wanna make sure you all are out voting for Chris Rabb for Congress. Make sure you're bringing your cousin, your brother, your neighbor, your coworker, your boo, whoever. We have to win this election, and the only way we can win it is for all of us to get our heads in the game. Let's go. Let's vote for Chris Rabb for Congress.
Introducing Working Families Party Executive Director, Maurice Mitchell.
Let me hear you, Philly. It's Philadelphia in the building. Good evening, Philadelphia. My name is Maurice Mitchell. I am the National Director of the Working Families Party. It's such a pleasure to be in community with all of you and to support someone who has stood with the people, Chris Rabb. Is the Pennsylvania Working Families Party in the building? When I say who are we, you say WFP. Who are we? WFP. Who are we? WFP. That's right. I want to thank you all. I want to thank all of our partners from around this beautiful state and our coalition partners building people power from the ground up. I want to thank my fellow New Yorker, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the building for coming out. I want to shout out my sister, Councilwoman Kendra Brooks, and my brother, Councilman Nicolas O'Rourke. WFP and Philly's own at-large city council representatives. They are a testament to what we can accomplish together when we organize and when we fight and when we win. It feels like every week there is bad news coming out. On TV, on social media, in your group chats maybe. It almost seems like it never ends. I don't want to spend too much time talking about what's wrong with the world. If you're in this building, I believe you already know what time it is, am I right? Yeah. And since we're in church, I feel like it's appropriate to talk about some good news. Can I do that? All right. Because what happens in Philly when we organize is what happens in this country when we organize. And on primary day, we can be a model for the rest of the country. You know, I believe it's important for us to know our history. So can I share some history with you? Yeah. Chris Rabb has been with us since day one. That was the history music in the background, getting y'all. We didn't want y'all to fall asleep during history class. So, and sometimes the birds need to sing, and the people need to holler when they're learning their history. This is people's history. So Chris Rabb has been with us since day one. When he first ran for election in 2016 for the State House of Representatives, Chris wanted to run as a working families candidate, but the state Supreme Court said no. But even though the powers that be wouldn't allow him to run as a WFP candidate on paper, he's always been WFP in spirit from day one. And at the State House, Chris has fought for workers, he's fought for children, he's fought for people who are incarcerated, and we have built with him on and on and on as he governed, but we did not stop there. We organized to elect Larry Krasner in 2017, but we did not stop there. In 2020, Councilwoman Kendra Brooks made history when she became the first third-party candidate in a generation to be sworn into the city council. But we did not stop there. In 2023, we sent her some help when Philly sent Nicolas O'Rourke, another WFP city council person, as backup. They both introduced legislation that's made real material changes in the lives of working people. But we did not stop there. And now we're ready to send Chris Rabb, our WFP Day One, to Congress. He's got a common sense agenda, a progressive agenda, and you think this common sense idea would just make sense to everybody. But it turns out that billionaires have something else in mind. They do not like the common sense agenda that says we need to invest in our people. So they've decided to meddle in this race. Billionaires who want to become trillionaires are trying to hijack this race so they could bend the government to their will. Are we gonna let them, Philly? So this is what we're gonna do. This is why we organize. This is why we build the Working Families Party, for times like this, so that we can have a party that isn't beholden to billionaires who want to use the government to steal from you and to replace you with robots and AI. So come Tuesday, we're gonna send a message. I know that you all hear the phrase, vote blue no matter who. But the type of color actually matters. And so we want some Working Families orange in the mix. Chris Rabb is the only person in this race that is ready to fight for a $25 minimum wage. He's the only person in this race that's willing to fight for Medicare for all. The only person in this race that's willing to fight for a housing guarantee. Philly, if you hear me, I need to hear you. This is a church. This is call and response. If you're able, I need you to get up if you're able. If you're not able, stay down. I need you to keep hollering. I need to hear you. If you believe that in a democracy, the people should govern, not billionaires, let me hear you. If you believe that in a democracy, the floor should be a housing guarantee and Medicare for all, and guaranteed health care and guaranteed child care. Taking billionaire money out of politics. If you believe that the people united will never be defeated, Philly, if you believe that in your heart, let me hear you. And let's introduce the next congressman from Philadelphia's 3rd Congressional District, Chris Rabb.
Wait a minute, I don't have my speech. I guess I should just speak from the heart, huh? How about that? How about that? How about that? I don't know if you heard, but AOC is coming. Did you hear that? I don't know. So there's a little pressure for me because I have to introduce her. And I got to say a few things, but there's too much aggressive fabulosity in this space. So I was hearing all the stuff in the back. I'm like, man, what I got left to say? There's too much fabulosity. But I think that's important because this is a moment of abundance. You know what I mean? Like this is abundance right here. This is radiant love. This is radiant love. And I didn't know that this would happen. Because you all keep showing up for me. Showing up for me, and you keep showing up for each other. And that's why I'm running. That's why I'm running. Because if we don't show up for each other now, in this moment, who will? Because you're my neighbors. And that's what neighbors do. And it means so much much because it's been a challenging 10 months. Yeah, I said it. I've been running 10 months. All right. And it's meaningful because this is an affirmation that I'm walking in my purpose. And I said purpose, not position. Big difference. Purpose transcends whatever moment you are in. When I won the same night as what's his name on 2016, it was a mixed evening. And then a month later when I took office, we had what's his name in the Oval Office, and I was going into the smallest Democratic minority in 60 years. And I had thought, is this what winning feels like? This sucks. And I expressed to my mom, I said, Mom, like, I don't know, like, did I just mess up and win? Like, what's happening here? And she said, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You were made for this. And I was like, I don't even know what this is. And then I was walking to my office, and an elderly woman came up to me and said, are you Rep. Rabb? And I said, yeah. She goes, I want to thank you. I said, I just got in the office. What are you thanking me for? She goes, your office helped keep my lights on. I reached out to so many different offices, and you're the only office, your team made it possible. And I want to thank you. And I realized I get to help people every single day. And that's its own reward. Service. Service. That's why I hate being called a politician. Because not all elected officials are created equal, am I right? See, there's some who are public servants. And public servants are those who serve the public and the public good. They serve the people. And you can tell them. I'm looking at some public servants right now. Because you're only good as the company you keep. So if you surround yourself with knuckleheads, eventually you might just become a knucklehead. But I surround myself with aggressively fabulous public servants. So those are public servants, but the problem is there are too many politicians in elective office, and politicians are those who serve themselves and moneyed interests. Well said. So that is me trying to find space among electeds who want to serve the people. But here's the thing, no one does it alone. No one. And there's only one way to run, folks. There's only one way to run, and that's with integrity. I appreciate the applause, but people saying, hey, brother, I hear you thinking about running for Congress. If you do, you can't talk about Palestine. Can't do it. You're not going to be electable. You can't do that. You can't be viable. That's what they said. And I said, well, there's a theme here. This is a church, though. I said, well, if I run without integrity, I've already lost. There's only one way to run. There's only one way to run. And it's in community. And it's in movement. And that's what I want you all to realize. I need you to hear me. This is a movement. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because right now, there are a lot of people closest to the pain who are afraid. For very good reasons. Our own government is seeking to destroy us. Our rights, our institutions, all of those things. People are afraid, they're frustrated, they're angry, they're disappointed. But this is what I want to tell you. When we come together, we are indomitable. And to the billionaire class, the Epstein class, we're coming for you. You're not safe. Your money will not protect you. We're coming for you. See, we're worried that they're coming for us, but they've always been coming for us. As we're turning the tables, we're coming for you. Don't you see our power? Our power is immense. They're afraid we're going to do the same thing to them that they've done to us. But this is about so much more than vengeance. Don't get me wrong, I got a little space in my heart for vengeance. But I'm here for justice. I'm here for justice. I'm here for justice. And if you're an enemy of justice, you're an enemy of mine. And I want to end on this before I introduce an amazing human being. We must humble ourselves and remember that we are the embodiment of our ancestors' wildest dreams. And I say that in this city, the city that birthed an imperfect union, a city who's been through so much, a city that in 1838 protested when the all-white state legislature took away the right to vote for free black men. We've been voting for nearly a half a century, and they took it back. Does that sound familiar, folks? Yeah. This struggle is not new. This is not an unprecedented time. This is the norm until we change it. And we will, because we're going to make things happen for us. We're not going to let things happen to us. This is our time. This is our city. And we will build and rebuild as many times as possible, because freedom is a place we make together. All right, folks. I am very pleased. This is a surreal moment for me. I did not think I would ever be in a position to be someone who would introduce an aggressive badass. One of my favorite bonus reps. Am I right? Is she your bonus rep too? She's my bonus rep. I got a few. But this sister is extra special. Because she wasn't supposed to have won. I can relate to that. She was supposed to be destroyed. But she didn't listen to them, did she? She did the work, and she did it in community. And then after winning, and winning some more, and winning some more, she helped build something. Right? Because it wasn't about her. It's not about me, it's about we. We the people. And I'm so glad to have among my people, our people, is AOC.
And I want to kind of pick up on what Rep. Rabb was just talking about in the history of this city. Because it was here in Philadelphia nearly 250 years ago that the founding of our nation introduced a radical new idea into the world, that all people were created equal. Now, it is fair to say that our founders could not possibly have anticipated how profound, consequential, and divinely inspired that promise would become. But nevertheless, they penned that enlightened mandate into our founding documents, our Declaration of Independence. And they were also carving out a cornerstone of what it means to be an American. The promise that each and every one of us was born to be free. And since then, Philadelphia, every generation of Americans has inherited the responsibility of stewarding that promise for the questions and crises of their time. Brothers, sisters, siblings, for us, that time is now. And today in Philadelphia, the flame of that promise is carried in the fight to elect our brother, Representative Christopher Rabb, to the United States Congress. He and I were speaking on the phone yesterday, and we were reflecting on his journey. And, Rep. Rabb, he went up against the Philadelphia machine. He was not supposed to be here. He went against the patronage system of the establishment here in Philadelphia. He has never been backed by corporate lobbyists, and he has been so beloved by the community that you all don't call him Christopher Rabb out here, do you? What do you call him? Rep. Rabb, that's right. Can I hear that again? Rep. You only get a name like that when you are beloved. We love you. When you show up. And it's funny, I was speaking with him on the phone, and it was one of the things that he wanted to make sure of all the work that he's done was not lost. He said, I may be moving on from being a state rep, but I will always be the House rep should I be elected. And so he wants to make sure that, as the media comes in and people say, Chris Rabb, we know he's not Chris Rabb. He's Rep. Rabb. Because he was given that name by the people of Philadelphia. And Rep. Rabb believes that the people of this city who built this city and this country deserve to share in the wealth that they create. He believes that the people who teach our children, drive our buses, and stock our shelves should not be struggling to survive. And Rep. Rabb has been able to survive 5 terms in the state house here, not taking any corporate money, standing up to corporate interests with the support of the people. And I asked him, what made you like this? Why do you do this? And he said, that's easy, because I was raised to. He said, my great-great-grandparents were born enslaved and died free because we organized. He said, I am the descendant of people who took on an improbable but necessary journey, and now my life is part of that journey too. You see, Rep. Rabb is the great-great-grandson of John Murphy. John Murphy was born into slavery on Christmas Day, 1840. And John Murphy was a founding father too. He fought for the United States against the Confederacy. Rabb comes from people who fought for the United States against the Confederacy. And in 1892, with $200 in his pocket, John Murphy bought a local newspaper in the United States and turned it into the Baltimore Afro-American. One of the most influential newspapers in our nation's history. And from generation to generation, John Murphy's family carried the promise of our nation forward, of telling the truth plainly, of building institutions of liberation, and of making sure that freedom was more than just a word on a piece of paper, but the founding promise and motivation of our lives. And this city, Philadelphia, carried that same promise too. Because this is also the story of Philadelphia. Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, is the city of abolitionists and organizers in this country. Of Quakers and free black communities who knew that America could never be free so long as millions of her people lived in bondage. This is the Philadelphia of 4,000 black, Irish, and immigrant dock workers who took our nation's promise into their own hands and shut down the ports for better pay, refusing to let the bosses divide us by race. Rep. Rabb is Philadelphia. And you can see it in everything he has done. Rep. Rabb worked for Senator Carol Moseley Braun, the first black woman elected to the United States Senate. Rep. Rabb taught at Temple University, where he helped the adjunct professors there organize a union. Rep. Rabb led the fight to repeal the death penalty in Pennsylvania. And for 5 terms, the people of Philadelphia have sent Rep. Rabb to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, where he has earned the most votes of any state representative in the history of this Commonwealth. So you know, it's no surprise as that the man who got the most votes is now getting the most money spent against him. It's a badge of honor, really, Rep. Rabb. You should take it as a compliment. Because corporations and lobbyists don't spend that much money in opposition out of charity. They spend that money because they expect something in return of those they spend it for. They spend that money because they want votes. They want votes for insurance companies who profit while working families struggle to afford care. They want votes to slowly weaken protections and to look the other way as corporations and modern-day barons consolidate more wealth and more power than ever before. And in the case of AIPAC, defense contractors and their allies, they want votes for war and silence, while American tax dollars go to the genocide and displacement of Palestinians and the invasion of Iran as the global economy descends into chaos. Because somehow, in Washington, I will tell you firsthand, there is always money for conflict and war and military escalation in the interests of the powerful. And yet, there is never the blank check that they find for that. There is never enough money for healthcare, housing, childcare, wages, infrastructure, bridges, water, air, power, electricity, none of it. But that's exactly why Rep. Rabb and this race at this moment matters. Pennsylvania 3, where we are seated right now, district in America. In fact, you guys have a district so blue, you ran the Republicans out of town. There is not even a Republican registered to run in November. That's how blue this district is. So the question here is not whether this community will elect a Democrat. The question is, what kind of Democrat will this community elect, Philadelphia? And if you want to change the Democratic Party, we got to change the kind of Democrats that get elected to serve in Congress. And you got to elect Democrats like Rabb if you want our nation to change. So what kind of Democrat will represent the bluest district in America? Is it going to be a Democrat who collaborates with special interests and lobbyists? Or is it going to be a Democrat who put everything on the line to deliver for the people and communities that they love? Philadelphia, Rep. Rabb cannot be bought. And we know that because he hasn't been bought. Rep. Rabb has spent 5 years in the Pennsylvania State House, and in that time has not taken one dime from corporate lobbyists. And I gotta tell you, when you're serving in a state house, a lot of the times that's when it's the easiest to take that kind of money. People aren't always watching or paying attention to their state house or their state senate. And it's very hard to get the resources necessary to run. So under some of the most pressure, and when nobody was looking, this man still did the right thing. Still did the right thing. He has not been silenced, intimidated, or pressured into betraying the people who have elected him, and that's how we know he won't do that in the House. Now, Philly, I know that this is a hard moment to be a person who still believes that another world is possible. But it's never been more important. The chips are down, the opposition is loud, the news is heavy, and the very foundations of our democracy are being shaken with the attacks on the Voting Rights Act. There's this video that's been going viral. I saw it last night. I think many of us seen it, of a young man who was testifying against redistricting out in the South. And he said something very true, that MAGA is the last dying breath of the Confederacy. And it could not be more true. And in response to the Confederacy, we have this moment here of liberation, abolition, and revival of the values that make this country actually great, actually aspirational, and actually audacious as an example for the world. It's in places like Philadelphia. And we have every freedom that we have today because somebody in each generation refused to accept the world as it was. Somebody kept going when the odds looked impossible. Somebody decided that the promise written in this city belonged to them too. And in this moment, Philadelphia, that